Hello guys, welcome back to the bookish side of my channel. I don't know if I look it, but I am so tired today. I've actually had such a good few days of reading, which I'm so happy about because I feel like I have been in a bit of a slump lately and just not reaching for books or not getting swept away in books as much as I have done other parts of the year. But I have been totally hooked over the last few days, especially last night. I stayed up so late reading. And then I woke up so early this morning to read, which now is making me feel truly exhausted. But it was worth it because the book that I was reading was so good. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you all about the books that I've just been reading that I loved so much. And I'm very excited to just keep going with the reading streak. We're just going to do a lot of reading together in this video. We need to choose what book I'm going to read next. I think I'm going to enlist the jar to help me pick. But first of all, the books that I have read since last week's vlog. So I finished Wild Eyes. It was so good. I don't think I'm ever going to say anything different about any book that Elsie Silver writes. There's just something about the banter and the optimism and the guaranteed happily ever after that I love. And I also completely forgot that the Rose Hill series is entirely a single dad series. So all of the male main characters in this are single dads, and I completely forgot about that fact. Anyway, the children in this are so funny. I had some proper like laugh out loud moments with the daughter in particular, Emmy. She's so funny. I loved Skylar and West together. They weren't necessarily like my all-time favorite couple of Elsie Silver's, but I still had such a nice time reading it. And honestly, I feel like this did get me out of my slump. So I am extremely grateful to it. If you've read other Elsie Silver, then it's just a really easy recommendation from me. Like, it absolutely fits in with all the others. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know what to rate it. Probably a 4-star, maybe 4.25. Sometimes that feels too harsh because I love Elsie Silver books so completely. I just feel like I could give them all a 5-star, but they don't necessarily like knock you sideways in the way that I feel like a 5-star should. So I feel like I should bump them down, but there's nothing about it. Well, actually, I definitely wouldn't give this book a 5-star. This is why I'm tired, you see now, because I don't make sense when I'm talking. But I probably wouldn't give this one a 5-star because the fame thing, her being a famous singer, I think I mentioned it in last week's vlog, but like the elements of social media and stuff in there, like I didn't love that side of it necessarily, but that's like just a preference thing. I mean, West was an excellent male main character, loved the children, love Rose Hill as a town. It's so nice being able to explore the town a little bit more, and I'm really excited for Reese and Tabby's story, which is going to be the next book, which I think is called Wild Side, and Elsie Silver has announced that it's going to be coming out in March 2025, I think. So I've got a little bit of time to wait for her next book, but I'm so excited about that one. Anyway, so that was Wild Eyes, loved. I then finished listening to the audiobook of Spark of the Everflame. So many of you commented saying that you've either read it before or you're currently reading it now, which is so fun that we're reading it together. So book one, I would say most of the book is actually quite slow. I enjoyed listening to the audiobook because I can kind of be doing other things whilst I read it. I might have struggled with the first like 60-70%, which is obviously a big chunk of it, if I'd been actually sat reading it page to page. Don't know, but I do think that the plot was, it took a while. Well, I don't know, I felt like there was always stuff happening. But the main character, Diem, I don't know, she was making some mistakes that I think we all knew were mistakes, and she was getting caught up with people that she shouldn't have been getting caught up with. But the ending was so good. I was fully gripped in the last 20-30%. I'm definitely going to listen to the next one, and I definitely think I can recommend it as like a solid fantasy book. I think there's going to be a lot more romance in the second one, maybe. I think I'd categorise Spark of the Everflame as a fantasy romance as opposed to romantasy, and I think the distinction between those two things is that a fantasy romance means that it's a fantasy book with some elements of romance in it, more like Throne of Glass, as opposed to romantasy being, it's really all about the romance, but set in like a fantasy world. So this one was more Throne of Glass vibes of most of it was about the fantasy plot, and there was like a little sprinkling of romance, which I really enjoyed, and you didn't really get till later on. The main romantic interest was not in it loads, but I think is going to be in it a lot more in the second book. So anyway, I'm really excited to listen to the next one, which is Glow of the Everflame. And then the book that I started last night that kept me up so late and then had me up waking up at like 5:30 this morning to finish it was my first Kennedy Ryan book, Longshot. I don't even want to show you the cover because I hate books with front covers of like real life models. I just can't stand them. Like all of the Elsie Silver Chestnut Spring series books, I've made sure to get all of the covers that do not have the people on. I don't know why, I just don't like it. I find it like cringy and I just don't like it. Anyway, this is the front cover with this man staring you down and I just don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. But it was my first Kennedy Ryan. I was completely gripped. It was really good. Like, it was really good. It was definitely very heavy. I can't remember if there actually were trigger warnings at the beginning of this. There were trigger warnings when I looked it up on Goodreads. But just in case you don't spot the trigger warnings at the beginning of this, like I'm not sure that I did, if you choose to read it, there is very graphic descriptions of domestic violence and sexual abuse. And some of that is really hard to read. But the story between Iris and August is so beautiful. I absolutely raced through it because I was like, when is this gonna be a happy ending? Like, I was so desperate to get to that point and I prayed that we were gonna get to a happy ending point for them because, oh my gosh, Iris deserved it so much. But Longshot is the first book of 3 in, I think it's called the Hoops series by Kennedy Ryan. I already really want to dive on to the next one. I thought the writing was really good. I thought the metaphors that were written, drawing parallels between Katrina and the destruction of such a catastrophic natural disaster with the domestic abuse that Iris, the main character, that's from New Orleans. I just thought it was written, some of those elements were so beautifully described and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm so pleased I've been introduced to Kennedy Ryan. I don't know what I'd give it. Maybe 4.5, maybe 4.75. It really was fantastic and maybe even would be a 5-star if I'd slowed down enough to take it all in, but I barreled through it, which maybe means it deserves 5-star in its own right. I find rating books so hard, guys, but it was like 4.5 area. It was so brilliant and I'm definitely not going to forget this book. So I really want this book for my shelves, but I cannot have that front cover on my shelf. I just don't like the actual pictures of the models thing. I can't do it. So if you know of Longshot having any other covers or where any other covers are for sale, let me know, but I haven't spotted any. Like, I really haven't seen any other covers. So until Kennedy Ryan decides to come out with new covers for her books, this one's going to be staying on the Kindle. Anyway, and then the other book that I had been reading in last week's vlog is Ninth House. And I haven't really kept reading it. I got so swept up in those other 3, like all those other 3. I was just having the best time and this one was feeling the slowest. So I think for now I'm just gonna put this one down. I'm gonna put it back in the pile and then hopefully we'll come back to it, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, I now need to pick a new book, which is so much fun. I've honestly got no idea what I wanna read. I can now put Ninth House back on the TBR shelf. This is the shelf of books that we have to choose from. So it's quite big. Where is the jar? Here is the jar. So let's open it and see what we choose. Oh, my jar is stuck. Okay. A book that's set in a small town. Look at me writing these prompts that I know I'm gonna love. Okay. See, if Wild Eyes was still on here, that obviously would have been the perfect one. I'm actually not sure I have one that's set in a small town for this month. Where is Out on a Limb set? I mean, this doesn't, nothing is like popping up about it being in a small town, so I don't know if that really counts. I might actually have to pick again because I don't think I've got a single small town romance on my TBR at the moment. Like, I think that was Wild Eyes, which we've now finished. I don't think anything else is. Right, let's pick again. That makes me sad because I love a small town romance, but it's a very strong fantasy shelf. A book that starts with the first letter of the month you are in. I think we're going to struggle with that as well. A book that starts with the first letter of the month you're in. We're in October, so O. Oh, okay. That is Out on a Limb then. Are there any others? B, B, T, R, A, T, N, T. Gosh, there's so many T's. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Out on a Limb, which is O for October. Oh, I need to get my buy one, get one half price sticker off of this. I hate these stickers. Okay, I'm gonna have to get that off because I really hate those stickers. Okay, so the book that we're gonna start reading today is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I have seen so much lovely praise for this book. I mean, one of the quotes of praise on the back is, "This is the kind of book that slips into your soul and heals things that you didn't even know were hurting." And this book is stunning. I mean, that is seriously high praise and it just sounds absolutely wonderful. I am so excited to read it. Everything that I know about Out on a Limb so far is that it is an unexpected pregnancy trope and it's about the 2 characters trying to navigate being co-parents as friends. And I assume they evolve into more than that. I'm really looking forward to it. I think this could actually give really cozy vibes. It also says that they originally hook up at a costume party. Do you reckon there's any chance that that's Halloween? Because then we're right on theme with October. Okay, I'm so excited about this. Right, I am gonna go and get started with this, and I will catch up with you in a bit once we're a few chapters in. Okay, I've only got as far as the author's note at the beginning. When I say I read a book cover to cover, I mean I read it cover to cover, and I love the dedications. I love the acknowledgements, and if there's an author's note, well, this is the most beautiful one I've read so far, and I just wanted to read some of it to you because I think it gives context about the book. I won't read all of it, but where shall I start? This is from the author Hannah Bonham Young. I, like Wyn, was born with my limb difference. I have a less developed right hand that is identical to Wyn's as described in this book. And while I've tried my best throughout my life to not let it hold me back, it certainly has created challenges. I've always found myself attempting to perform things in private that I'll be expected to do in public. Things as small as buttoning a new pair of pants or typing to take notes in class. I spent hours upon hours thinking through daily obstacles, coming up with small adjustments, and planning out my days in agonising detail in order to avoid any awkwardness or failure. Then I found out I was pregnant, and suddenly I felt totally and completely unprepared. I knew that nothing could prepare me for what came next, and I was terrified. I wanted to write a book for anyone who's let fear of failure slow them down, not just for those of us who choose to have kids or those of us who are disabled, but for anyone who has been thrust into something new that took them so far out of their comfort zone they no longer recognise their past, afraid self. I wanted to write something about two people who love each other so much they're able to change the negative thought patterns they've held onto and embrace their differences fully, where love is shown to be validating, kind, considerate, joyful, patient and gentle. In this book, Wyn goes on a journey to motherhood via pregnancy. Because her pregnancy is entirely unexpected, I choose to include conversations between Wyn, her medical team and her support system about the option of abortion. It's worth noting that this book is set in Canada, where rights to abortion are not currently under threat as they are elsewhere, and therefore her options are less limited. Ultimately, Wyn chooses to keep her baby, but it felt necessary to include those discussions given the fundamental right to access safe, legal abortions is constantly being challenged. Wyn's choice is not superior, nor is she pressured into it. Wyn's choice is just that, her choice. To end this note, I just want to say that I know that pregnancy in romance novels is a hot topic. It's not for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. But this book is a lot more than a one-night stand turned baby. It's about learning to let someone see the messy, needier parts of you. It's learning to be loved well as you are and accept help. It's about challenging expectations and overcoming obstacles. It's disabled joy, which we all need to see more of if you ask me. I hope you love Beau and Wyn as much as I do. All my love, Hannah Bonham Young. And that's only the second half of the author's note, but don't you just think that's so beautiful? So anyway, I already feel like if that is the tone of this book, then I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. And I have to say, I think this is probably my first disabled love story. So I don't know if that convinces you to read the book as much as it just convinced me to go make myself a cup of tea, sit down on the sofa and just dive right in. But that is what I'm going to do. So anyway, take two. I'll see you in a bit once I've read a chunk. I'm literally only halfway through chapter 2, and this is so sweet I could die. The banter is so good. It's funny. I didn't know it was going to be funny. It's funny and it's sweet and I love it, and I'm 27 pages in. If this continues, this could be a 5-star. Oh, it's so nice. Right, I'm getting back to it. I'm 100 pages in and it's so good. I wonder if I'm literally going to do basically what I did with Longshot and just binge it in like less than 24 hours. I can't see this book still being unfinished by like this time tomorrow. It's so good. Anyway, I am in the mood for a sweet treat. And the food order came this morning. Cameron's away, he's always away in the week. And he always does the food shop for me. And he's so organised. Anyway, I saw that he's like put loads of Halloween stuff, the trick-or-treaters in. So he bought this little pumpkin bucket for us to put all of our sweets in for when the children come round for trick-or-treating. And the best bit is that like he's obviously bought all the sweets and chocolate for it and everything. He bought so much. I said, Cameron, last year we had about 5 or 6 knock on the door. Like that was it. We do not need bags and bags of sweets. He's probably just using it as an excuse so he could buy sweets for himself. Anyway, I think I'm gonna have, wait, maybe I should just empty it into the bucket. So this is a great selection box. We've got Dairy Milk, Freddo and Friends, a Curly Whirly, a Freddo Caramel, a normal Freddo and a fudge. Why is Halloween chocolate so much fun? Okay, decisions. Do I have a caramel Freddo or do I have a Curly Whirly? I think I might have a Curly Whirly and see how well I last. Really, I should only be having one of these today because otherwise they're all going to be gone because Halloween's literally not till next week, is it? Is it over a week away? 30 days after, yeah. It's 31 days in October, so yeah, we've got time to wait. I'm gonna have a Curly Whirly. And I was supposed to stop at 100 pages. I think I'm literally gonna read like for 20 more minutes because I'm just like not done. And then this kitchen is so desperate for a clean, so then I'm gonna put my headphones on and probably listen to Glow of the Everflame whilst I tidy this place up. There's so much laundry to do, but I've got to keep going. So anyway, Curly Whirly and book and 20 more minutes of reading, and then we're switching it up. Kitchen a little bit of a refresh, so it's feeling much better in here. I've had that stuff sitting like piled up and the dishwasher like not unloaded all day, and I really hate it when I do that because it just means that the whole kitchen just feels unclean when there's like pots of dirty food stuff just sitting on the side. Anyway, so that's feeling done. That's been nice to refresh and reset. It's so funny that Tuesdays to me like always feel like a Sunday. Today for me is a Tuesday. And I tend to work like all weekend quite a lot because I have my Sunday upload. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I always seem to be really productive on the weekends. So I usually work quite a lot on the weekends, and then my bookish day of the week is basically like my Sunday day. And today is feeling so much like that. I've lit the fire, because the temperatures have definitely dropped. I spent my day eating Halloween candy, which is so perfect. I don't think I've said that in all of my ramblings about Out on the Limb because it's so good already, oh my gosh. But it is a Halloween party where they first meet, so it feels perfect for the month of October. So you've got a week from when this comes out to read it if you want to read something that starts in October. From what I can gather, it's going to actually follow the pregnancy rather than be one of those books where they kind of get pregnant, have a baby, and then it's all about them parenting together. It feels like this is going to follow the pregnancy, which is quite fun because it feels like the chapters are like 9 weeks, baby's the size of a strawberry, 10 weeks, or like a grape, 10 weeks, I don't know, however big babies are. It's got that kind of thing to it. Anyway, doubling down on my Sunday, I'm now still listening to my fantasy. Fantasy feels like a very cozy Sunday thing as well. I think that this series is going to be really good. I am also really loving the narration. I think the narration's done so well in audiobook, so if you're debating how to listen to how to like read or how to consume Spark of the Everflame, I recommend the audiobook. It's giving me all those like cozy fantasy vibes. I've said it before, I'll say it again, but like Throne of Glass vibes. I don't know if that's a bit bold, but that is how it's feeling. And on top of that, on top of my kitchen reset, my cozy day reading on the sofa, my Halloween sweets and chocolate, and my fantasy audiobook, I'm having a very, very Sunday meal. So I've just popped in the oven, I don't know why I'm holding this, but I've just popped in the oven a Waitrose cauliflower cheese, which is very good. Not as good as the M&S cauliflower cheese, I'll have to say, but still very good. So I've got a cauliflower cheese to eat, one sad little Yorkshire pudding. You can tell this is like the leftovers from the weekend when we were making a roast and then didn't cook everything. So I've got one little Yorkshire pudding that will go in. And then I have, very attractive this, isn't it? This is gourmet cooking. And then I have 6 cooked sausages, which needed to be cooked a couple of days ago, but have not yet been eaten. So I'm gonna have cauliflower cheese, sausages, a Yorkshire pudding, gravy, and whatever veg we happen to have in the fridge. I think we've only got courgette. And that's basically a Sunday roast, isn't it? So it's all going very well so far. And then in a bit, I need to show you some of the bookish things that I got for my birthday. I know that was well over a month ago now, but I just remembered that I haven't actually shown you some of the things that I got, and they're so bookish and so perfect. And if you have anybody whose birthday is coming up soon, or if you're really organised and you're already planning your Christmas gift list stuff, then they put the biggest smile on my face, these presents, so I'll show you them in a bit. Anyway, for now, I'm gonna have some dinner, listen to more Glow of the Everflame, and I will chat to you in a bit. Good morning. I am very barefaced today because my skin is starting to break out. I don't know how much you can see it, but I'm starting to get some breakouts on my forehead and I don't really get them very often, so I feel like my skin needs a lot of love. It always does this in between the season changes. So I've just had like a full-on like skincare 45 minutes. I've done like a mask and like smothered myself in my favourite moisturisers. So no makeup is going on top, we're just like letting it sit, you know. And this is not book related at all, but I'm now updating my LTK with all my skincare faves because what I just did felt so good. If you don't have LTK, first of all, I really recommend the app, to be honest, because it's what I use to follow other creators and see what stuff they use. But you don't actually have to have the app, you can just follow direct links or go on the desktop version. But LTK is the site that basically is where I'm starting to use it more now because I'm finding it really helpful for myself to have my favorite products like organized. So I'm basically now in there linking like exactly what my favorite stuff is. So for example, I've just done like a hair care edit and I just made a little collage that have the direct links to all of my favorite hair care products. And then I've just done the same for all the skincare stuff that I just used. These are my faves at the moment. I've started using this Tatcha cream, which might be a little bit pricey, but it's so good. And these Summer Fridays lip balms I just think they're the best lip balms in the game. I want one in every single flavour, they're so good. Anyway, this is such a side note. I've just got so addicted to making these collages this morning. I just made like a Abercrombie and Fitch edit of all my favourite trousers. And these are the ones that I have. So I'm kind of now categorising things into, like I'm gonna have like an autumn outfits folder, and I'm gonna have like a beauty folder. And then I feel like when I'm like, what should I wear today? I can go into my autumn outfits folder and see like all the things that I've got. Anyway, if you want to check mine out, you can go on there, and then I've got all of my products linked off of there. Anyway, that is such a digression. But that's what I've been doing on my laptop. I've got my laptop here in front of me. But I actually wanted to show you some of the bits that I got for my birthday, my bookish things that I got for my birthday, because they're so nice. And I can't believe I haven't shown you yet. And probably in next week's vlog, I want to go through and actually use some of them in my book journal and just like go through my entire library. And I'm going to show you what they are in a minute and it'll make sense. First thing that I got was this beautiful edition of One Day. Isn't it stunning? The spine is amazing. And it's just stunning. She's stunning. It's a beautiful book. I actually haven't read the book. I watched the show, and I do really need to read the book. And I got it from my cousins and my aunt, and they wrote in the front, which is so nice. You know how you're reading it if you watch my Sunday vlogs as well. I was reading the ones where my grandma used to get gifts from her dad with stuff written in the front of the book. Well, I haven't even mentioned it to my aunt and my cousins, but they basically have written in it. I actually should write the date in. They haven't written the date, but they've just written like a lovely message in the front saying happy 30th. Anyway, so that was one beautiful copy. I have actually also seen this edition in Waterstones, still available. So if you wanted to get this gorgeous copy as well, check out your local Waterstones because beautiful, beautiful. That was the only like book that I got. But then I feel like they're actually here. But then one of my friends got me these little heart page marks, which is so sweet. So let's grab a book. Okay. Silver Flames. Say I get up to page 122. Say I'm up to page 122. The heart is obviously in the little shape of a corner. And sorry, I didn't even show you, like it's got like a slit in the middle. And I just slit the heart over the corner to save the page. Don't you just think that's so sweet? I love it. It's so cute. And then I've got like a little heart in my book, saving my page. I love that. And I know that so many of you struggle so much with the fact that I do fold the corners of my pages, which I know is bad, but it's just something I do. Anyway, now I don't need to because I've got these lovely little hearts. What I need to probably do is stick these in my handbag, and then when I'm reading my book on the go, I can just like pick one of these out. But anyway, these are so sweet. And then I need a piece of paper, like plain paper, to show you the other two. Okay, I've got my little scrap piece of paper just so that I can show you what I got. So the first one is a little stamp that my friends also got me, which has my name and then 5 stars that I can then colour in. The idea being I can stamp either in the book or probably in my book journal when I'm reviewing books, like that. And then I can colour in the number of stars that I thought the book was, which I just think is so nice and so thoughtful. And I'm so excited to get that into my book journals and doing it properly. And then the other one, I saw these, I've actually seen these like advertised to me on Instagram, and some of you even sent me links to these, so like they must just be doing something with their targeted ads at the moment. And my friends also must have got the targeted ads because look at this. So you like place the pages of the book between the little stampy thing, clamp down pretty hard, or as hard as I can. I have really pathetic hand strength. And then hopefully this is gonna work. And then look, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's then pressed in from the Diary of Ellen Miller, and it's like a book with flowers coming out of it. And I just think it's so pretty. So I can stamp, or I can, what's the right word? Is it embossing? But I can emboss all of my favourite books with my own little kind of like library emblem thing. And I just think it's so nice, and I'm so excited to go through my books from the Library of Ellen Miller. I love it so much. So I'm definitely going to be quite selective about which ones I do this to. You know, I have no doubt that at some point, some of these books will probably get donated so that I can keep topping up with new books. So I only want to stamp like my very favourite books that I really think that I'm going to keep for an extremely long time, so that if I donate them whoever gets them next doesn't have like "from the library of Ellen Miller" stamped into the front of their book, because I'm not sure they'd appreciate that. Anyway, I know that was so random and literally over a month late, but I just thought I'd show you my birthday bookish gifts, because I just can't believe I haven't shown you yet, and I love them and they're so nice. They're also, again, such good ideas for like Christmas presents for anybody that you know that is bookish inclined, or put it on your own list if you also love books, and give it to family and friends so that they know what to get you. Because I just think either a book that you write in the front of with the date and like a lovely message to your loved one, or one of these library stamps of either variety, or the page. I just think there's so many lovely bookish gifts. I'll definitely create some like bookish gift guides actually. Probably not yet, but as we get closer to Christmas, I'm gonna try and get really organized with myself before Black Friday this year and organize like what gifts I want to get for people. And I might try and create like a bit of a gift guide for him and a gift guide for her, and do like bookish edition versions. And maybe I'll get Cameron to help me with the boys version, the gifts for him. And again, I'll put those on my LTK just so that if you want to check them out as well, you can do that. But I always try and get super organized before Black Friday so I don't just get sucked into the madness of it and just spend money for no reason. I like having a spreadsheet, like an actual spreadsheet of like what I'm going to buy and then who I'm going to buy it for if it's Christmas stuff, or what I'm going to buy for myself. And then I actually get really excited for Black Friday because it's so satisfying ticking those things off, and then I know exactly how much I've got budgeted for it. I know exactly how much I'm going to spend. I'll talk all about that more in another video actually, because I do feel like I do sometimes get questions on like finances type stuff, how I organise my money. And Black Friday is definitely one to be careful for how you spend your money. Anyway, back to books. I haven't read loads more of Out on a Limb. I'm so excited to do it later today, but today it needs to be a very focused work day. So I've got a lot of editing to do. I've got a lot of admin to get through. So I'm saving reading until after 5 p.m. tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to. I was listening to more Glow of the Everflame this morning while I was getting ready and doing my skincare. But I'll have to let you know how I get on with both of those in next week's bookish vlog, because I'm 1000% sure that I'll finish them both by then. And I'm pretty sure that although I haven't like fully decided yet, I'm 99% sure that the book that I want to be reading next week, like whilst it's Halloween, is the Mindfuck series. I think this has been on my TBR for a long time, and I was thinking actually yesterday that this really does actually deserve to get read, because this has been on my TBR shelf for quite a long time now, and I did save it for October, so I think this one needs to get read, and I am really looking forward to it. And it's 5 books in one. I don't know if that means if I read this in October I get to up my tally by 5 entire books. I have to be honest, I feel like I do. I feel like that's the rule. If there's 5 books in here, they're just little mini books, but this is quite a chunky one. Anyway, so I think I'm going to pick this up after the next 2, just in case you're curious as to what I'm going to read next. But otherwise, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all enjoying a lovely book at the moment. And if not, I hope you're enjoying reading my books with me. Have the loveliest week, guys, and I truly cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.